Wavemaker posts a thread of a guy in the presence of a giant footprint. Giant footprint, 200 million years old, 4 feet long, located in South Africa, nestled in the forest near the Swaziland border. This so-called Goliath's footprint is one of Africa's little-known secrets. And it's not really a tourist hotspot either. And people are speculating that erosion caused this interesting shape. One thing that is true, it's not a photoshopped image. People have been there and seen it, including that guy who videotaped it. So what do ATS members have to say about it? Hellas writes, those estimations always crack me up. 200 million to 3 billion, 1,000 years old. Who knows, huh? Kemal says, in Islam, it was once known that there was giants on Earth. Guapo states, how tall do you think someone with a foot that big would be? Like 20 feet? Once Returned says, it's not mud unless the giant was walking barefoot on molten rock. Then it's not real. And Submarine writes in 3 words, 1 word, Nephilim. Okay, ATS, what do you think? Is this a hoax? Is it for real? So click the link and tell us what you think. Storm Dancer 777 posts an interesting thread. Is God answering Tim Tebow's prayers? Tim Tebow is a good old white boy from Florida, and he's currently a quarterback on the Denver Broncos. It's an American football team. He's famous for kneeling and praying before, during, and after the game. This past Sunday, Denver played their first playoff game against a tough opponent, the Pittsburgh Steelers. And Tim Tebow wrote 316 on his eye black. And wouldn't you know it, Tim Tebow's stats, 316 passing yards on 10 throws, which is an average of 31.6 yards a throw. And you think that's pure coincidence? Then look at the final quarter-hour TV ratings for the game. Yep, you guessed it, 31.6 million viewers. This story can be summed up in one comment by Calgarian. Not since the OJ trial have I heard so much about a white Bronco. So ATS, relax. Tim Tebow is probably not God, but if you have a comment, click below and let us know. And now onto a really good thread. Even I myself had to change my appearance researching this thread. The dangers of investigating conspiracies and cover-ups. Member Infinite was doing a Google search back in '04, and he came across a couple good articles on the dangers of investigating conspiracies. Now remember, this member is not driving fear into people, but rather he thought it was odd that people mysteriously started dying when investigating the JFK assassination. And although murders are the extreme acts, the more common mode of operation is bribery, framing people for crimes and scandals, media smears, and kangaroo court, a manipulated trial with an outcome determined in advance. Even more mysterious about this thread, the link is locked, and if you don't have permission, you can't access it. So you need to dig deeper. If you go down through the thread, member Make It So posts a new link. So the link takes you to a website, and it's Webb Fraser's website. And he's kind of like a conspiracy theory extraordinaire. But he shares some examples on the website of people gone missing for finding out too much or getting too close. For example, the names of Gary Ween, Rodney Stitch, and most notably, Danny Casolaro. But before I get into Danny's story, let's understand something about conspiracy. The structural analysis of a conspiracy is generally involved with study and documentation. There's no paper trails, solid evidence is patchy. The dismissal of most conspiracy theories is because the evidence is not ironclad. Okay, so back to Danny. He's an investigative reporter who tried to break the story on what he called the octopus. It was a pattern of scandals that seem related, including October Sunrise, which relates to the Iranians releasing hostages the day Ronald Reagan was inaugurated. Danny, he didn't turn out to be too lucky. He was found dead by suicide in a Sheraton hotel bathtub. Days before he died, he talked to the FBI to let them know what he found, and just so happens the briefcase of investigative notes he had mysteriously disappeared. Danny, he was kind of an amateur and got way in over his head though. Another important note is the family was not notified until 2 days after the body was found. Okay, ATS, so who's interested in researching this further to the point of no return? And if you did uncover some truths, would it be worth risking your life over? Click the link to let us know what you think. Okay, so that's the show. We'll be back here on Monday. But over the weekend, I'll be hanging out on Twitter. So hit that follow button and ask me a question. And stay on the lookout for ATS Response, our behind the scenes show at who we are and what we do here on ATS Recap. Remember, that's released on the Above Network YouTube channel. Why? Well, because it's, off topic. And again, this is Brian with ATS Recap, signing off.